in January 2009 in Kasama, a 7-year-old boy named Ben unfortunately had both of his parents die in a road accident. And these were the only guidance that he had. But lucky enough, during the funeral, his auntie from Lusaka, married to this very rich man in Lusaka, she suggested that she wants to take Ben and start living with him in Lusaka. She's going to take care of all his academic finances till he finishes tertiary education. This was not his aunt actually saying, it was her husband. This man had liked Ben. He wanted Ben to be with him, start staying with him until he grows up, because he's 7, looks very intelligent. We were just talking, very joyous, energetic. Now, the way he was just adamantly asking for Ben, like he was obsessed trying to start staying with Ben. People who saw this man, Mr. Chideshe, that was his name, they thought, okay, the way he's so obsessed, almost like trying to make sure that no one takes Ben except him. They thought, okay, this is crazy. Maybe it's because Mr. Chideshe only has one child with Ben's aunt. This was a girl, she was 12 years old. Maybe he wanted the younger boys, and that makes sense. Ben is 7. So Ben's uncle got Ben and began staying in Lusaka. Just a couple of months of staying in Lusaka, everything made sense now why Ben's uncle was adamant with trying to get him at his house. Ben's uncle had a bad habit of waking up around 01, sodomizing Ben, around 24:01:02, and began sodomizing Ben. At first, it was just the abuse from his aunt, but the abuse was quite understandable. Whenever Ben tried to fight back his gay uncle, he would overpower him and he threatened Ben that if you're going to talk to any one of your relatives about this, I am making sure that I chase you and your aunt, divorce you and forget you from my life forever, because you destroy my name and you go back to Kasama and eat cassava. Though they never even ate cassava, he just liked rhyming these words, though he actually meant it. Ben would explain this problem to his aunt multiple times, but she was also scared, because that's like the Bemba saying goes, people were just admiring their family from outside, but inside the house, the man was a maniac. He was doing all crazy things to his children and his wife, treating them horribly despite him giving them all the money that they wanted. He would still go out with other women and also other men. That was his thing, sodomizing boys. And Ben's aunt, she made sure that she stifles Ben's complaints. Ben's aunt and her daughter were also abusing Ben. Because Ben was going to school at 12 hours, they would make him wake up really early. They would let the daughter to his aunt go to school at 10 hours without waking anything. She would leave all the chores undone. And for Ben, he would wake up at 6 hours or 05, clean the house, wash all the plates, do the laundry, and he would participate in cooking, changing shifts with the other ladies who were in the house. For his auntie's daughter, she was not doing none of the chores. Hers was just to go to school. Then, when he's done working, that's where he prepared to go to school. From he was just 7 up to when he turned 10, he's been waking up in the morning, doing this brutal morning routine in the cold morning temperatures of Lusaka. Until one day, this young boy got sick. You would feel his lungs like this, some water in them. He rushed to the clinic alone, told him that he has pneumonia, but it's in its early stages. So for the doctors to start treating him, they need his guidance to go with him. He went to his aunt, told her that he needs to go with her or his uncle to the hospital. So they treat him because he has onset pneumonia. His aunt said she's going to take him, but she delayed. Days turned into weeks, and the weeks were turning now into months, almost 2 months. He was not going anywhere, and his disease was becoming worse. When he sleeps, sometimes feel like he's vomiting, he sometimes feel like he's drowning, goes outside vomiting. He had this horrible flu that was not stopping. Still, the morning routine would go on. One day, he woke up around 01:02, felt like vomiting, went outside, began vomiting. As well as vomiting, he sat down on a brick and began thinking. His head got filled up with crazy thoughts. He looked in the stars and asked himself, if really there is a creator in this universe, why did he place him from the first in the harshest positions? Both his parents, they lost their lives. It's so rare that someone's life starts out like that. Gets into someone else's custody, they still abuse him, now he's sick. What did he do wrong? Why did the Creator do this to his early life? As Ben was thinking about this, he began tearing up, crying, looking up in the stars. As he was crying, he heard the door. It got locked from inside. His aunt had locked him up. Good part was that Ben's yard, the yard was in a big wall fence with barbed wires everywhere and lightings. The bad part was that there was no shelter to protect himself from the elements. Most especially, Osaka can become very cold late at night. Plus, he had pneumonia with his small body. The next morning, they found Ben laying on the ground unconscious. They rushed him to the clinic. Fortunately, he was BID. Relatives were gathered, the funeral was run very fast. The cause of death, pneumonia. Although his aunt, uncle, or the daughter who knew how his pneumonia came about, they never said the truth that he died outside. They just said he died from pneumonia. And everyone believed that. Buried him very hurriedly. Although after burying Ben, these three would begin experiencing very, very strange things in their house. Firstly, around the same time, 0102, when Ben was outside begging for them to open the door and they ignored him, they would hear Ben's cry outside. Although he was not there, he had already been buried, but they would still hear his footsteps and his cries outside their yard. Although they would not see Ben anywhere. The next morning, they would find Ben's footprints around their yard. Despite them cleaning their yard, none of Ben's shoes were even around. They were already given away. Sometimes they'd find, before 7 hours when they're waking up, the entire house was completely cleaned. All the chores that Ben was doing were already done by someone they did not know, and just the knives, they were not where they're supposed to be. The knives were placed in positions where they were suggesting people were looking at them to use them for something almost bad, because you don't use a knife when you're about to sleep, when you're sleeping, but the knives were found in the rooms. Mr. Shileshi's family thought maybe Ben's ghost is haunting the house. So they shifted to a different house and they sold the previous house. They sold it at a very cheap price because they wanted it gone as fast as possible. The people who occupied the house after them, they did not experience any haunting around. Oh, they had a pleasant time at this house. But Mr. Chileshe, where he went, crazier things were happening at this house. Sometimes they would find the kitchen was filled up with plates on the ground, pots on the ground where they're not supposed to be, just on the bare floor. Everything was scattered everywhere. Sometimes the house would be clean, but the TV had fallen, broken apart, the phones would fall. Everything delicate in the house was just falling and breaking. Sometimes the glasses would break on themselves. So they thought, this is crazy. After living a miserable life, this family went crazy and separated. The husband became full-time, I don't know if he's homosexual, but he became full-time sleeping out with just different young men. Then his daughter, because of her immoral lifestyle of sleeping around with different men, she lost her abilities to give birth and simply have a child and simply start a family. She was barren. For Ben's aunt, everything that she tried to do would not succeed. Things were just breaking apart. Whatever she tries to do was not going anywhere. She became very old, poor, went back to Kasama to eat cassava like